Hey everybody, and welcome to Book Chat. I'm your host, Author Vivian E. Moore. Happy Saturday to you, by the way. I'm so glad to be joining you once again today. I always look forward to my Saturday shows because I get to interact with my audience, get to say hello again after a very long week, and always want to know, how everyone's week was. How your day is going. I know the weather here is just a little bit blah, but that's okay. Behind those clouds, the sun is shining. And we may get a little liquid sunshine later on, but that's okay. I hope that you've had a productive day. And I know that usually Saturdays are a very busy time for everybody, including me. So that's why I only like to take just 15 minutes of your time, and then just move on so you can get finished with the rest of your day, and then I can do the same. But anyway, before we get started with today's show, I always want to give out these URLs because these are other avenues of staying in contact with me and staying on top of the show and other things that I'm involved with. If you just want a little insight on what I do as an author, and then, just a little personal information is out there also, if you just want to know who I am as a person. So if you will grab yourself something to write with and something to write on, we'll get started with the URLs, and then we'll just move right on to today's show. All right, so the first one, of course, is to my Spreaker account, and that one is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. Also, you can reach out to me on Facebook. That one is https://www.facebook.com/author Vivian E. Moore. You can reach out to me on Twitter, and that is God's Property 46 if you want to look me up on Twitter, and also on my Instagram page. That is https://instagram.com/God's Property 51. Also, if you will, check out my website, and you can also interact with me out there on that too. You can leave messages. You can just click through the whole little a program. It's just very short, very sweet, and it takes you through in just a matter of minutes. And then before you leave, you can leave a comment, or you can just click on like, and that will be just fine too. But anyway, that one is https://vivianmoore.wixsite. That's wixsite.com/author Vivian E. Moore. You can also check out today's blog on Blogger on my blog site, which is https://vivianemore.blogspot.com. And if you want to listen to the recorded show on iTunes, you can. And you can also, if you go to my Instagram page, it has all of this information. All of these URLs are listed out there for your convenience. And in one last place where you can also pick up the recorded version of the show, and that is on iHeartRadio. And that URL is also listed out there. And I don't give those two out on the show because they are very long. But if you just go to the, you can either go to the Facebook page or you can go to the Instagram page and just click on any of those links, and it will take you directly to those listings. All right, so if you're ready, I'm ready, and let's get to today's show. The title of today's show is called The Muse, and the topic is finding inspiration. As I said, and I'm so hesitant about saying this, but I have to be honest, this is a truth moment. As I sat in church last Sunday school to be exact, and it was last week, and we were studying the lesson. We had just gotten finished, not gotten finished, but we had just started on the lesson. And if you get a Sunday school book like we do at my church, they usually have the topic that we're going to be discussing. They'll have the book and the chapters of where the verses and the study is going to come from. And so at the top of the page, it had finding inspiration. And so I was looking at that and I was like, wow, I can work with that. So, I immediately thought how great this would be as a topic of discussion for my blog and for today's subject. So I jotted it down before I forgot what it was. And then it just came to me further about the Muse. I was like, oh yeah, the Muse, finding inspiration. So I just rolled with that. But anyway, I'm not often distracted during Sunday service, nor do I make a habit of jotting down notes, especially when I'm supposed to be listening while the pastor is trying to teach us something. But, nevertheless, when inspiration presents itself, I can't ignore it. And I do what comes natural as a writer. I write things down because there are times when I've got absolutely nothing to talk about. And then I wonder where my next idea is coming from. And I'm scrambling and just picking the stores of my brain for anything worthy of conversation. I am just basically searching for anything that will spark inspiration. Generally, it doesn't occur through osmosis while I'm sleeping, but there have been plenty of times that I've dreamt and then been inspired to write a great story. Then there were other times I gained inspiration from a great book or a movie. I don't watch a lot of television, but when I do, it gives me a vast variety of ideas to work with. And so I soak them up just like a sponge. And speaking of movies, there was one that came out back in the 90s called The Muse. And that's what my mind immediately went to when I saw that, the topic for the Sunday school lesson, which was finding inspiration. And so that just came across my mind, The Muse. Now, not that it was a great movie, and I wasn't all that impressed with it because, to be honest, it was just a little bit cheesy for my taste. But it was still amusing, in an offbeat sort of way. It had a really good cast, and I think that one had, I can't think of her name, but she starred in that movie. I think it was with I can't think of his name. Oh, I wish I could think of his name. I can see her face, but I cannot call her name at this moment. But anyway, if you just click in that title, type in that title, it'll bring up all of those people who were in that movie. And the reason why I mentioned her was because she didn't usually do comedic roles like that. So you got to see her in a different light. And I think that's what made the movie work, because usually we're used to seeing her in more dramatic roles. And Michael Douglas, that was the one. He wasn't in this movie, but he was in one that Sharon Stone, that's her name. I knew it would come back to me if I kept talking long enough. She was the one that was in that movie with, I think it was Albert Brooks. And I can't think of it was another woman, but I can't think of her name. But anyway, if you ever get the opportunity to check that movie out, just look at it and and see what you thought of it. Like I said, it wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but it was okay. But anyway, but I totally got the premise of what this story depicted. And and when your storehouses, that's what I like to call my brain, are empty, you just need something to motivate and stimulate you in being creative. Now, in this situation, the artist was he was just literally grasping for straws and for anything inspiring that would arouse his creative prowess and cause ideas to flow back into his think tank. Personally, I don't have a muse. Yet I'm often inspired by reading and through conversation or even music at times. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to classical music and just been inspired to write, just a whole scene based on just that one piece of music. Or, I've listened to gospel music and it just inspired me, to write something that was so heartfelt, because of the lyrics of the song or the music, whatever it was, it just touched me in some way to where I just wanted to expound on it more in my own words. But sometimes inspiration comes so unexpectedly that you don't even realize that it's taking place. But when it does, you should always write it down, because just like it popped in your head, it can pop right out again. And and even if it's only a word or a phrase, everything has potential for any individual who possesses a creative mind. It might sound like scribble scrabble to anyone else, but there is a method to the madness if you are a creative genius. Now, many other artists who I've had the pleasure of holding long conversations with said that they sometimes gain inspiration from events that take place in their lives or someone else's, and they aren't picky about the source of information, simply thankful for it when motivation does come, that they have something that fans the flames of their imagination. And and I fit right in that same category with them, because I've experienced so many times not having anything to where it just frustrated me. But I'm not complaining either, because I've gone through, just like I said, enough dry spells where nothing was going on inside my head. There were no industrious wheels of creativity turning. In fact, it was so barren and quiet that I believed that I could almost hear crickets. Now, that's pretty bad. When you get to the point to where there's nothing going on up there, it's just silence. And that is so scary. But after a few times of sifting through brain dust, I learned to appreciate my own private form of Muse. And this is good, especially for a writer who depends on great storytelling as a source of income. So if you don't have anything to write about, then you most certainly can't gain anything from that, and no one else can either. So, it's good to keep your wheels greased. It's good to keep things, in your life that's motivating, things that you can use as inspiration to write about, to talk about, because, I run into that on a weekly basis because I do this show every week. And I have been doing it now it will be 2 years this year. And sometimes, it's like Death Valley. I don't have nothing. It's like I'm just dry, as the desert. It hadn't rained in years. But then, there are those aha moments that I get to where, like last Sunday, it's like, I can use that. Thank you, Lord, for giving me that, because like I said, that is not a good feeling at all to have absolutely nothing to work with. It's just scary. It really is. But muses don't always come by means of commonality. They are sometimes diverse, as we are as humans. And they come in different varieties too, and in ways that we don't always expect. But I am so glad for this one thing, that they do exist, and they help us to find our source of inspiration. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you found something useful with the topic that we talked on today. I hope that it has inspired you in a small or some big way, to find your own muse, to find your own point of direction, because we all need it. I always laugh when I hear a comedian do a line from a movie, and when they ask, well, what's my direction? Well, as writers, we require those same pointers, those same markers to help keep us, on point. We need it. But also, I want you to remember that muse do come in different shapes, in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of things. So, just keep your eyes open, keep your mind open, because you never know when inspiration will hit. And also, you never know when the last time it'll be that you'll see somebody that you love. And remember to take somebody to church with you tomorrow. Sunday is worship day. Take a friend, take a family member, take someone that does not go on a regular basis. Take children to church with you, because they need the word just as much as we do. And tell somebody that you love them, because tomorrow isn't promised. Today may be the only chance you get to tell them that. I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.